preparing the live stream. Okay, I think we are running live. So welcome wherever you're joining us from around the world or on YouTube, or if you're even one of our attendees in our Zoom webinar, welcome to Hamlet Part 2. And our Hamlet tonight is Joe Dinicol. Joe will be playing Hamlet. And this time next week, we'll be doing the third part of the play with Megan St. Thomas as our Hamlet. So we've gone female, male, female. So it's going to be super fun. And then we're going to do a web panel with myself and the three Hamlets. And I think Luann is going to moderate it after we're finished the third part of Hamlet. We'll talk a little bit about the process that we used, about playing the part, about how we're able to make theater happen in quarantine and during this this dreadful time. So, but anyway, we're really excited about tonight. Before we start, so far in the action, we're a third of the way through this magnificent play, and Hamlet has basically seen a ghost. The ghost has told him what he needs to do. And now this is the act where that process starts and Hamlet starts to take action on that. So yeah, the reading tonight's only about an hour and 25 minutes. And we should be on our way very soon. So now I'd just like to let the cast introduce themselves and who they're playing. I'll start first. I'm Richard. I'm playing I'll be narrating tonight and I'll also be playing Guildenstern.
Hi, I'm Joe Dinicol and I am playing Hamlet.
Hi, I'm Luann Morrow and I'll be playing Rosencrantz and the player Queen.
I'm Burke Fair and I'm playing Lucianus.
I am Maddie and I am playing the player King.
Hi, I'm Paul Gore. I'm playing Polonius.
I am Hasten Kadri. I'm playing first player.
I'm Megan and I'm playing Queen Gertrude.
Hi, I'm Brandon Furla. I'll be reading Claudius.
Hi, I'm Glenn Thomas Cruz and I am playing Horatio.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Mockbach and I'll be playing Ophelia.
Excellent. So this is now the second part of Hamlet. Take it away, guys.
What speech, my good lord?
I heard thee speak me a speech once, but it was never acted, or if it was, not above once. For the play, I remember, please not the million. 'Twas caviary to the general, but it was, as I received it, and others whose judgment in such matters cried in the top of mine, an excellent play, well digested in the scene, set down with as much modesty as cunning. I remember one said there were no sallets in the lines to make the matter savory, nor no matter in the phrase that might indict the author to affectation, but it called it an honest method, as wholesome as sweet, and by very much more handsome than fine. One speech I chiefly loved, 'twas a nice tale to Dido, and thereabout of it, especially when he speaks of Priam's slaughter. If it live in your memory, begin at this line. Let me see. The rugged Pyrrhus, the Arcanian beast. No, it is not so. It begins with Pyrrhus, the rugged Pyrrhus, he whose sable arms black as his purpose did the knight resemble when he like couched in the ominous horse, hath now this dread and black complexion smeared with heraldry more dismal. Head to foot now is he, total ghouls, horridly tricked with blood of fathers, mothers, daughters, sons, baked in and pasted with the parching streets that led the tyrannous and damned light to their souls' murder. Roasted in wrath and fire, and thus o'ersides with coagulate gore, with eyes like carbuncles, the hellish Pyrrhus, old grandsire Priam seeks. So proceed you.
For God, my lord, well spoken, with good accent and good discretion.
Anon he finds him striking too short at Greeks. His antique sword, rebellious to his arm, lies where it falls, repugnant to command, unequal matched. Pyrrhus at Priam drives, in rage strikes wide. But with the whiff and wind of his fell sword, the unnerved father falls. Then, Senseless Ilium, seeming to feel this blow with flaming top, stoops to his base and with a hideous crash takes prisoner Pyrrhus' ear. For lo, his sword, which was declining on the milky head of Reverend Priam, seemed in the air to stick. So, as a painted tyrant, Pyrrhus stood and, like a neutral to his will and matter, did nothing. But, as we often see against some storm, a silence in the heavens, the rack stands still, the bold winds speechless in the orb below, as hush as death. Anon the dreadful thunder doth rend the region. So, after Pyrrhus' pause, aroused vengeance sets him new a work, and never did the Cyclops' hammers fall on Mars's armor, forged for proof etern, with less remorse than Pyrrhus' bleeding sword, now falls on Priam. Out! Out, thou strumpet fortune! All you gods and general synod, take away her power, break all the spoken fellies from her wheel, and bow the round nave down the hill of heaven, as low as to the fiends.
This is too long.
It shall to the barbers with your head. Prithee, say on. He's for a jig and tale of bawdry, or he sleeps. Say on. Come to Hecuba.
Who, woe, had seen the moblid queen.
The moblid queen.
That's good. Moblid Queen is good.
Run barefoot up and down, threatening the flames with bison room, a clout upon that head where late that diadem stood, and for a robe about her lank and all o'er teemed loins, a blanket in the alarm of fear caught up. Who this had seen, with tongue in venom steeped, 'gainst fortune stale, would treason have pronounced. But if the gods themselves did hear, then, when she saw Pyrrhus make malicious sport in mincing with his sword her husband's limbs, the instant burst of clamor that she made, unless things mortal move them not at all, would have made milch the burning eyes of heaven and passion in the gods.
Look where he has not turned his color and has tears in his eyes. Prithee, no more.
'Tis well. I'll have thee speak out the rest of this soon. Good my lord, will you see the players well bestowed? Do you here let them be well used, for they are the abstract and brief chronicles of the time. After death, you were better have a bad epitaph than their ill report while you live.
My lord, I will use them according to the desert.
God's bodkins, man, much better. Use every man after his desert, and who shall scape whipping? Use them after your own honor and dignity. The less they deserve, the more merit is in your bounty. Take them in.
Come, sirs.
Follow him, friends. We'll hear a play tomorrow.
Polonius and the players exit. Hamlet speaks to the first player.
Dost thou hear me, old friend? Can you play the murder of Gonzago?
Aye, my lord.
We'll have tomorrow night. You could, for a need, study a speech of some 12 or 16 lines, which I would set down and insert it, could you not?
Aye, my lord.
Very well. Follow that lord, and look you, mock him not.
First player exits.
My good friends, I'll leave you till night. You are welcome to Elsinore.
Good, my lord.
Aye, so goodbye to you.
Rosencrantz and Guildenstern exit.
Now I am alone. Oh, what a rogue and peasant slave am I. Is it not monstrous that this player here, but in a fiction, in a dream of passion, could force his soul so to his own conceit that from her working all his visage wand? Tears in his eyes, distraction in his aspect, a broken voice, and his whole function suiting with forms to his conceit, and all for nothing. For Hecuba. What's Hecuba to him, or he to Hecuba, that he should weep for her? What would he do had he the motive and the cue for passion that I have? He would drown the stage with tears and cleave the general ear with horrid speech, make mad the guilty and appall the free, confound the ignorant, and amaze indeed the very faculties of eyes and ears. Yet I, a dull and muddy mettled rascal, peak like John a dreams, unpregnant of my cause, and can say nothing. No. Not for a king, upon whose property and most dear life a damned defeat was made. Am I a coward? Who calls me villain? breaks my pate across, plucks up my beard and blows it in my face, tweaks me by the nose, gives me the lie of the throat as deep as to the lungs. Who does me this? Ha! Swoons, I should take it, for it cannot be but I am pigeon-livered and lack gall to make oppression bitter, or ere this I should have fattened the region kites with this slave's offal. Bloody body villain, remorseless, treacherous, lecherous, kindless villain! Oh, vengeance! Why? What an ass am I? This is most brave, that I, the son of a dear father murdered, prompted to my revenge by heaven and hell, must like a whore unpack my heart with words and fall a-cursing like a very drab, a stallion. Iapont, foe. About my brains. I have heard that guilty creatures sitting at a play have by the very cunning of the scene been struck so to the soul that presently they have proclaimed their malefactions. For murder, though it have no tongue, will speak with most miraculous organ. I'll have these players play something like the murder of my father before mine uncle. I'll observe his looks, I'll tent him to the quick. If he do blench, I know my course. The spirit that I have seen may be a devil, and the devil hath power to assume a pleasing shape. Yea, and perhaps out of my weakness and my melancholy, as he is very potent with such spirits, abuses me to damn me. I'll have grounds more relative than this. The play's the thing wherein I'll catch the conscience of the king.
He exits. Act 3. Scene 1. Enter King, Queen, Polonius, Ophelia, Rosencrantz, Guildenstern, and lords.
And can you by no drift at conference get from him why he puts on this confusion, grating so harshly all his days of quiet with turbulent and dangerous lunacy?
He does confess he feels himself distracted, but from what cause he will by no means speak.
Nor do we find him forward to be sounded, but with a crafty madness keeps aloof when we would bring him on to some confession of his true state.
Did he receive you well?
Most like a gentleman.
But with much forcing of his disposition.
Miserly of question, but of our demands most free in his reply.
Did you assay him to any pastime?
Madam, it so fell out that certain players we o'erwrought on the way, of these we told him, and there did seem in him a kind of joy to hear of it. They are here about the court, and as I think they have already ordered this night to play before him.
'Tis most true, and he beseeched me to entreat your majesties to hear and see the matter.
With all my heart, and it doth much content me to hear him so inclined. Good gentlemen, give him a further edge and drive his purpose into these delights.
We shall, my lord.
Rosencrantz and Guildenstern and lords exit.
Sweet Gertrude, leave us too, for we have closely sent for Hamlet hither, that he, as 'twere by accident, may here affront Ophelia. Her father and myself, lawful Espials, will so bestow ourselves that, being unseen, we may of their encounter frankly judge and gather by him as he is behaved, if it be the affliction of his love or no, that thus he suffers for.
I shall obey you. And for your part, Ophelia, I do wish that your good beauties be the happy cause of Hamlet's wildness. So shall I hope your virtues will bring him to his wonted way again, to both your honors.
Madam, I wish it may.
Queen exits.
Ophelia, walk you here. Gracious, so please you, we will bestow ourselves. Read on this book. That show of such an exercise may color your loneliness. We are oft to blame in this, 'tis too much proved, that with devotion's visage and pious action, we do sure over the devil himself.
Oh, 'tis true. How smart a lash that speech doth give my conscience. The harlot's cheek, beautied with plastering art, is not more ugly to the thing that helps it than is my deed, to my most painted word. Oh, heavy burden.
I hear him coming. Let's withdraw, my lord.
They withdraw. Enter Hamlet.
Be or not to be? That is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of troubles and by opposing, end them. To die, to sleep, no more. And by asleep to say we end the heartache and the 1,000 natural shocks that flesh is heir to. 'Tis a consummation devoutly to be wished. To die, to sleep, perchance to dream. Aye, there's the rub, for in that sleep of death, what dreams may come when we have shuffled off this mortal coil must give us pause. There's the respect that makes calamity of so long life, for who would bear the whips and scorns of time? The oppressor's wrong, the proud man's contumely, the pangs of despised love, the law's delay, the insolence of office, and the spurns that patient merit of the unworthy takes, when he himself might his quietest make with a bare bodkin. Who would fardels bear to grunt and sweat under a weary life, but that the dread of something after death? The undiscovered country from whose bourne no traveler returns puzzles the will and makes us rather bear those ills we have than fly to others that we know not of. Thus, conscience does make cowards of us all. And thus the native hue of resolution is sicklied o'er with the pale cast of thought, and enterprises of great pitch and moment with this regard their currents turn awry and lose the name of action. Soft you now, the fair Ophelia. Nymph, in thy orisons be all thy sins remembered.
Good my lord, how does your honor for this many a day?
I humbly thank you well.
My lord, I have remembrances of yours that I have longed to redeliver. I pray you now receive them.
No, not I. I never gave you aught.
My honored lord, you know right well you did. And with them words of so sweet breath composed as made the things more rich. Their perfume lost, take these again. For to the noble mind rich gifts wax poor when givers prove unkind. Here, my lord.
Are you honest?
My lord?
Are you fair?
What means your lordship?
That if you be honest and fair, your honesty should admit no discourse to your beauty.
Could beauty, my lord, have better commerce than with honesty?
Aye, truly. For the power of beauty will sooner transform honesty from what it is to a bawd than the force of honesty can translate beauty into his likeness. This was sometime a paradox, but now the time gives it proof. I did love you once.
Indeed, my lord, you made me believe so.
You should not have believed me, for virtue cannot so inoculate our old stock, but we shall relish of it. I loved you not.
I was the more deceived.
Get thee to a nunnery. Why wouldst thou be a breeder of sinners? I am myself indifferent, honest, but yet I could accuse me of such things that it were better my mother had not borne me. I am very proud, revengeful, ambitious, with more offenses at my beck than I have thoughts to put them in, imagination to give them shape, or time to act them in. What should such fellows as I do crawling between earth and heaven? We are errant knaves all, believe none of us. Go thy ways to a nunnery. Where's your father?
At home, my lord.
Let the doors be shut upon him that he may play the fool nowhere but in his own house. Farewell.
Oh, help him, you sweet heavens.
If thou dost marry, I'll give thee this plague for thy dowry. Be thou as chaste as ice, as pure as snow. Thou shalt not escape calumny. Get thee to a nunnery. Farewell. Or if thou wilt needs marry, marry a fool, for wise men know well enough what monsters you make of them. To a nunnery, go, and quickly too. Farewell.
Heavenly powers restore him.
I have heard of your paintings too, well enough. God hath given you one face and you make yourselves another. You jig and amble and you lisp, you nickname God's creatures and make your wantonness your ignorance. Go to, I'll no more on't. It hath made me mad. I say we will have no more marriage. Those that are married already, all but one shall live. The rest shall keep as they are. To a nunnery, go.
He exits.
Oh, what a noble mind is here o'erthrown. The courtiers, soldiers, scholars, eye, tongue, sword, the expectancy and rose of the fair state, the glass of fashion and the mold of form, the observed of all observers quite down. And I, of ladies most deject and wretched, that sucked the honey of his music vows, now see that noble and most sovereign reason like a sweet bells jangled out of tune and harsh. That unmatched form and stature of blown youth blasted with ecstasy. Oh, woe is me to have seen what I have seen, see what I see.
Love. His affections do not that way tend, nor what he spake, though it lacked form a little, was not like madness. There's something in his soul, o'er which his melancholy sits on brood, and I do doubt the hatch and the disclose will be some danger, for which to prevent I have in quick determination thus set it down. He shall with speed to England for the demand of our neglected tribute. Haply the seas, the countries different with variable objects, shall expel this something settled matter in his heart, whereon his brains, still beating, puts him thus from fashion of himself. What think you on't?
It shall do well. But yet do I believe the origin and commencement of his grief sprung from neglected love. How now, Ophelia? You need not tell us what Lord Hamlet said. We heard it all. My lord, do as you please. But if you hold fit, after the play, let his queen mother all alone entreat him to show his grief. Let her be round with him, and I'll be placed to please you in the ear of all their conference. If she finds him not, to England send him, or confine him where your wisdom best shall think.
It shall be so. Madness and great ones must not unwatched go.
They exit. Scene 2. Enter Hamlet and 3 of the players.
Speak the speech, I pray you, as I pronounced it to you, trippingly on the tongue. But if you mouth it, as many of our players do, I had as lief the town crier spoke my lines. Nor do not saw the air too much with your hand thus, but use it gently. For in the very torrent, tempest, and as I may say, whirlwind of your passion, you must acquire and beget a temperance that may give it smoothness. Oh, it offends me to the soul to hear a robustious, periwig-pated fellow tear a passion to tatters, to very rags, to split the ears of the groundlings, who for the most part are capable of nothing but inexplicable dumb shows and noise. I would have such a fellow whipped for o'erdoing termagant. It out-Herods Herod. Pray you, avoid it.
I warrant, your honor.
Be not too tame, neither, but let your own discretion be your tutor. Suit the action to the word to the action, with this special observance, that you o'erstep not the modesty of nature. For anything so o'erdone is from the purpose of playing, whose end, both at the first and now, was and is to hold as 'twere the mirror up to nature, to show virtue her own feature, scorn her own image, and the very age and body of time his form and pressure. Now this overdone or come tardy off, though it makes the unskillful laugh, cannot but make the judicious grieve, the censure of the which one must in your allowance o'erweigh a whole theater of others. Oh, there be players that I have seen play and heard others praise, and that highly, not to speak it profanely, that neither having the accent of Christians nor the gait of Christian, pagan, nor man, have so strutted and bellowed that I have thought some of nature's journeymen had made men and not made them well. They imitated humanity so abominably.
I hope we've reformed that indifferently with us, sir.
Oh, reform it altogether. And let those that play your clowns speak no more than is set down for them. For there be of them that will themselves laugh, to set on some quantity of barren spectators to laugh too, though in the meantime some necessary question of the play be then to be considered. That's villainous and shows a pitiful ambition in the fool that uses it. Go, make you ready.
Players exit. Enter Polonius, Guildenstern, and Rosencrantz.
How now, my lord? Will the king hear this piece of work?
And the queen too, and that presently.
Bid the players make haste.
Polonius exits.
Will you two help to hasten them?
Aye, my lord.
They exit.
What ho, Horatio.
Here, sweet lord, at your service.
Horatio, thou art e'en just as a man as e'er my conversation coped withal.
Oh, my dear lord.
Nay, do not think I flatter, for what advancement may I hope from thee, that no revenue hast but thy good spirits to feed and clothe thee? Why should the poor be flattered? No, let the candied tongue lick absurd pomp and crook the pregnant hinges of the knee where thrift may follow fawning. Dost thou hear? Since my dear soul was mistress of her choice and could of men distinguish, her election hath sealed thee for herself. For thou hast been as one in suffering all that suffers nothing, a man that fortune's buffets and rewards hast ta'en with equal thanks, and blessed are those whose blood and judgment are so well commeddled that they are not a pipe for fortune's finger to sound what stop she please. Give me that man that is not passion's slave, and I will wear him in my heart's core, aye, in my heart of heart, as I do thee. Something too much of this. There is a play tonight before the king. One scene of it comes near the circumstance which I have told thee of my father's death. I prithee, when thou seest that act afoot, even with the very comment of thy soul, observe my uncle. If his occulted guilt do not itself unkennel in one speech, it is a damned ghost that we have seen, and my imaginations are as foul as Vulcan's stithy. Give him heedful note, for I mine eyes will rivet to his face, and after we will both our judgments join in censure of his seeming.
Well, my lord, if he steal aught the whilst this play is playing and scape detecting, I will pay the theft.
Sound a flourish.
They are coming to the play. I must be idle. Get you a place.
Enter trumpets and kettle drums. Enter the king, the queen, Polonius, Ophelia, Rosencrantz, Guildenstern, and other lords' attendants with a king's guard carrying torches.
How fares our cousin Hamlet?
Excellent, if faith of the chameleon's dish. I eat the air, promise cran. You cannot feed capons so.
I have nothing with this answer, Hamlet. These words are not mine.
No, nor mine now. My lord, you played once at a university, you say?
That did I, my lord, and was accounted a good actor.
What did you enact?
I did enact Julius Caesar. I was killed in the Capitol. Brutus killed me.
It was a brute part of him to kill so capital a calf there. Be the players ready?
Aye, my lord, they stay upon your patience.
Come hither, my dear Hamlet. Sit by me.
No, good mother. Here's metal more attractive.
Hamlet takes a place near Ophelia.
Oh ho, do you mark that?
Lady, shall I lie in your lap?
Oh, my lord.
I mean my head upon your lap.
Aye, my lord.
Do you think I meant country matters?
I think nothing, my lord.
That's a fair thought to lie between maids' legs.
What is, my lord?
Nothing.
You are merry, my lord.
Who, I?
Aye, my lord.
Oh, God, you're only jig maker. What should a man do but be merry? For look how cheerfully my mother looks, and my father died within 2 hours.
Nay, 'tis too much, my lord.
So long? Nay, then let the devil wear black, for I'll have a suit of sables. Oh, heavens, died 2 months ago and not forgotten yet. Then there's hope a great man's memory may outlive his life half a year. But by your lady, he must build churches then, or else shall he suffer not thinking on with the hobby horse, whose epitaph is, for oh, the hobby horse is forgot.
Trumpets sound, a dumb show follows. Enter a king and a queen, very lovingly, the queen embracing him and he her. She kneels and makes show of protestation unto him. He takes her up, declines his head upon her neck. He lies down upon a bank of flowers, and she, seeing him asleep, leaves him. Anon comes in another man, takes off his crown, kisses it, and pours poison in the sleeper's ear and leaves him. The queen returns, finds the king dead, and makes passionate action. The poisoner, with some 3 or 4 coming again, seem to condole with her. The dead body is carried away. The poisoner woos the queen with gifts. She seems harsh a while, but in the end accepts his love. The players exit.
What means this, my lord?
Mary, this is Mitching Malecho. It means mischief.
We like the show imports the argument of the play?
Enter the prologue.
We shall know by this fellow. The players cannot keep counsel. They'll tell all.
Will you tell us what this show meant?
Aye, or any show that you will show him. Be not ashamed to show, he'll not shame to tell you what it means.
You are naughty. You are naughty. I'll mark the play.
For us and for our tragedy, here, stooping to your clemency, we beg your hearing patiently.
He exits.
Is this a prologue or the posy of a ring?
This brief, my lord.
As woman's love.
Enter the player king and queen.
Full 30 times hath Phoebus's cart gone round, Neptune's salt wash and Tellus' orbed ground, and 30 dozen moons with borrowed sheen above the world have times 12 30s been, since love our hearts and Hymen did our hands unite commutual in most sacred bands.
So many journeys may the sun and moon make us again count o'er our love be done. But woe is me! You are so sick of late, so far from cheer and from your former state, that I distrust you. Yet though I discomfort you, my lord, it nothing must. For women fear too much even as they love, and women's fear and love hold quantity in neither aught or in extremity. Now, what my love is proof hath made you know, and as my love is sized, my fear is so. Where love is great, the littlest doubts are fear. Where little fears grow great, great love grows there.
Faith, I must leave thee, love, and shortly too. My operant powers their functions leave to do. And thou shalt live in this fair world behind, honored, beloved, and happily one as kind. For husband shalt thou go.
Oh, confound the rest. Such love must needs be treason in my breast, and second husband let me be accursed. None wed the second, but who killed the first.
Wormwood, wormwood.
The instances that second marriage move are base respects of thrift, but none of love. A second time I kill my husband dead, when second husband kisses me in bed.
I do believe you think what now you speak, but what we do determine off we break. Purpose is but the slave to memory, of violent birth but poor validity, which now the fruit unripe sticks on the tree, but fall unshaken when thy mellow be. Most necessary 'tis that we forget to pay ourselves what to ourselves is debt. What to ourselves is passion we propose, the passion ending, doth the purpose lose. The violence of either grief or joy their own enactures with themselves destroy. Where joy most revels, grief doth most lament. Grief joys, joy grieves on slender accident. This world is not for aye, nor 'tis not strange that even our love should with our fortunes change. But 'tis a question left us yet to prove, whether love lead fortune or else fortune love. The great man down, you mark his favorite flies. The poor advanced makes friends of enemies. And hitherto doth love on fortune tend, for who not needs shall never lack a friend. And who in want a hollow friend doth try, directly seasons him his enemy. But orderly to end where I begun, our wills and fates do so contrary run, that our devices still are overthrown. Our thoughts are ours, their ends not of our own. So think thou wilt no second husband wed, but die thy thoughts when thy first lord is dead.
Nor earth to me give food, nor heaven light, sport and repose lock from me day and night. To desperation turn my trust and hope, and anchor's cheer in prison be my scope. Each opposite that blanks the face of joy, meet what I would have well and it destroy. Both here and hence pursue me lasting strife, if once a widow, ever I be wife.
If she should break it now.
'Tis deeply sworn. Sweet, leave me here a while. My spirits grow dull, and fain I should beguile the tedious day with sleep.
Sleep rock thy brain, and never come mischance between us twain.
Player queen exits.
Adam, how like you this play?
The lady doth protest too much, methinks.
Oh, but she'll keep her word.
Have you heard the argument? Is there no offense in it?
No, they do but jest. Poison in jest. No offense to the world.
What do you call the play?
The Mousetrap. Mary, how? Tropically. This play is the image of a murder done in Vienna. Gonzago is the Duke's name, his wife, Baptista. You shall see anon 'tis a knavish piece of work. But what of that? Your Majesty and we that have free souls, it touches us not. Let the galled jade wince. Our withers are unwrung.
Enter Lucianus.
This one is Lucianus, nephew to the king.
You are as good as the chorus, my lord.
I could interpret between you and your love if I could see the puppets dallying.
You are keen, my lord, you are keen.
It would cost you a groaning to take off mine edge.
Still better and worse.
So you mistake your husbands. Begin, murderer. Pox, leave thy damnable faces and begin. Come the croaking raven doth bellow for revenge.
Thoughts black, hands apt, drugs fit, and time agreeing. Confederate season, else no creature seeing. Thou mixture rank of midnight weeds collected, with Hecate's ban thrice blasted, thrice infected, thy natural magic and dire property on wholesome life usurp immediately.
Pours the poison in his ears.
He poisons him in the garden for his estate. His name is Gonzago. The story is extant and written in very choice Italian. You shall see anon the murderer gets the love of Gonzago's wife.
Claudius rises.
The king rises.
What, frighted with false fire?
How fares my lord?
Cure the play.
Give me some light. Away!
Light, light, light!
All but Hamlet and Horatio exit.
Why, let the strucken deer go weep. The heart ungalled play. For some must watch while some must sleep. Thus runs the world away. Would not this, sir, and a forest of feathers, if the rest of my fortunes turn Turk with me, with 2 provincial roses on my raised shoes, get me a fellowship and a cry of players?
Half a share.
A whole one, aye. For thou dost know, O Damon dear, this realm dismantled was of Jove himself, and now reigns here a very, very Pagic.
You might have rhymed.
Oh, good Horatio, I'll take the ghost's word for £1,000. Didst perceive?
Very well, my lord.
Upon the talk of the poisoning.
I did very well note him.
Aha! Come, some music. Come the recorders. For if the king like not the comedy, why then be like he likes not Perdie? Come, some music.
Enter Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. Good, my lord, vouchsafe me a word with you.
Sir, a whole history.
The king, sir,
Aye, sir, what of him?
Is in his retirement marvelous distempered.
With drink, sir?
No, my lord, with choler.
Your wisdom should show itself more richer to signify this to the doctor, for me to put him to his purgation would perhaps plunge him into more choler.
Good my lord, put your discourse into some frame and start not so wildly from my affair.
I am tame, sir. Pronounce.
The queen, your mother, in most great affliction of spirit, hath sent me to you.
You are welcome.
Nay, good my lord, this courtesy is not of the right breed. If it shall please you to make me a wholesome answer, I will do your mother's commandment. If not, your pardon and my return shall be the end of my business.
Sir, I cannot.
What, my lord?
Make you a wholesome answer. My wit's diseased. But, sir, Such answer as I can make you shall command, or rather, as you say, my mother. Therefore, no more but to the matter. My mother, you say.
Then thus she says, your behavior has struck her into amazement and admiration.
Oh, wonderful son that can so astonish a mother. But is there no sequel at the heels of this mother's admiration? Impart.
She desires to speak with you in her closet ere you go to bed.
We shall obey were she 10 times our mother. Have you any further trade with us?
My lord, you once did love me.
And do still by these pickers and stealers.
Good my lord, what is your cause of distemper? You do surely bar the door upon your own liberty if you deny your griefs to your friend.
Sir, I lack advancement.
How can that be when you have the voice of the king himself for your succession in Denmark?
Aye, sir, but while the grass grows, the proverb is something musty.
Enter the players with recorders.
Oh, the recorders! Let me see one.
He takes a recorder and turns to Guildenstern.
To withdraw with you. Why do you go about to recover the wind of me as if you would drive me into a toil?
Oh, my lord, if my duty be too bold, my love is too unmannerly.
I do not well understand that. Will you play upon this pipe?
My lord, I cannot.
I pray you.
Believe me, I cannot.
I do beseech you.
I know no touch of it, my lord.
It is as easy as lying. Govern these vintages with your fingers and thumb, give it breath with your mouth, and it will discourse most eloquent music. Look, you, these are the stops.
But these cannot I command to any utterance of harmony. I have not the skill.
Why, look you now how unworthy a thing you make of me. You would play upon me. You would seem to know my stops. You would pluck out the heart of my mystery. You would sound me from my lowest note to the top of my compass. And there is much music, excellent voice in this little organ, yet you cannot make it speak. It's blood. Do you think I am easier to be played upon than a pipe? Call me what instrument you will, though you can fret me, you cannot play upon me.
Enter Polonius.
God bless you, sir.
My lord, the queen would speak to you, and presently.
Do you see yonder cloud that's almost in shape of a camel?
By the mass, and 'tis like a camel indeed.
Methinks it is like a weasel.
It is backed like a weasel.
Or like a whale.
Very like a whale.
Then I will come to my mother by and by. They fool me to the top of my bent. I will come by and by.
I will say so.
By and by is easily said. Leave me, friends.
All but Hamlet exit.
'Tis now the very witching time of night when churchyards yawn and hell itself breathes out contagion to this world. Now could I drink hot blood and do such bitter business as the day would quake to look on. Soft, now to my mother. O heart, lose not thy nature. Let not ever the soul of Nero enter this firm bosom. Let me be cruel, not unnatural. I will speak daggers to her, but use none. My tongue and soul in this be hypocrites. How in my words somever she be shent, to give them seals never my soul consent.
He exits. Scene 3. Enter King, Rosencrantz, and Guildenstern.
I like him not, nor stands it safe with us to let his madness range. Therefore prepare you. I your commission will forthwith dispatch, and he to England shall along with you. The terms of our estate may not endure hazard so nears as doth hourly grow out of his brows.
Will ourselves provide. Most holy and religious fear it is to keep those many, many bodies safe that live and feed upon your majesty.
This single and peculiar life is bound with all the strength and armor of the mind to keep itself from annoyance, but much more that spirit upon whose weal depends and rests the lives of many. The cess of majesty dies not alone, but like a gulf doth draw what's near it with it. Or it is a massy wheel, fixed on the summit of the highest mount, to whose huge spokes 10,000 lesser things are morticized into joint, which when it falls, each small annexment, petty consequence attends the boisterous ruin. Never alone did the king sigh, but with a general groan.
Arm you, I pray, to this speedy voyage, for we will fetters put about this fear, which now goes too free-footed.
We will haste us.
Rosencrantz and Guildenstern exit. Enter Polonius.
My lord, he's going to his mother's closet. Behind the arras, I'll convey myself to hear the process. I'll warrant she'll tax him home. And as you said, and wisely was it said, 'tis meet that some more audience than a mother, since nature makes them partial, should o'erhear the speech advantage. Fare you well, my liege. I'll call upon you ere you go to bed and tell you what I think.
Thanks, dear. My lord, oh, my offense is rank. It smells to heaven. It hath the primal eldest curse upon it, a brother's murder. Pray, can I not, though inclination be as sharp as will? My stronger guilt defeats my strong intent, and like a man to double business bound, I stand in pause, where I shall first begin and both neglect. What if this cursed hand were thicker than itself with brother's blood? Is there not rain enough in the sweet heavens to wash it white as snow? Whereto serves mercy but to confront the visage of offense? And what's in prayer but this twofold force to be forestalled ere we come to fall, or pardoned being down? Then I'll look up. My fault is past, but oh, what form of prayer can serve my turn? Forgive me, my foul murder. That cannot be, since I am still possessed of those effects for which I did the murder, my crown, mine own ambition, and my queen. May one be pardoned and retain the offense? In the corrupted currents of this world, offense's gilded hand may shove by justice, and oft 'tis seen the wicked prize itself buys out the law. But 'tis not so above. There is no shuffling. There the action lies in his true nature, and we ourselves, compelled even to the teeth and forehead of our faults to give an evidence. What then? What rests? Try what repentance can. What can it not? Yet what can it when one cannot repent? Oh, wretched state, oh, bosom black as death, oh, limed soul that struggling to be free art more engaged. Help, angels, make essay, bow stubborn knees and heart with strings of steel, be soft as sinews of the newborn babe. All may be well.
He kneels. Enter Hamlet.
Now might I do it, Pat. Now he is a-praying, and now I'll do it.
He draws his sword.
And so he goes to heaven, and so I am revenged. That would be scanned. A villain kills my father, and for that I, his sole son, do this same villain send to heaven. Why, this is hire and salary, not revenge. He took my father grossly, full of bread, with all his crimes broad blown, as flush as May. And how his audit stands, who knows save heaven? But in our circumstance and course of thought, 'tis heavy with him. And am I then revenged to take him in the purging of his soul when he is fit and seasoned for his passage? No. Up, sword, and know thou a more horrid hint. When he is drunk, asleep, or in his rage, or in the incestuous pleasure of his bed, at game a-swearing, or about some act that has no relish of salvation in it, then trip him that his heels may kick at heaven, and that his soul may be as damned and black as hell, whereto it goes. My mother stays. This physic but prolongs thy sickly days.
He exits.
My words fly up, my thoughts remain below. Words without thoughts never to heaven go.
He exits. Scene 4. Enter the Queen and Polonius.
He will come straight. Look, you lay home to him. Tell him his pranks have been too broad to bear with, and that your had screened and stood between much heat and him. I'll silence me even here. Pray you be round with him.
Mother! Mother! Mother!
I warned you, fear me not. Withdraw, I hear him coming.
Polonius hides behind the arras. Enter Hamlet.
Now, mother, what's the matter?
Hamlet, thou hast thy father much offended.
Mother, you have my father much offended.
Come, come, you answer with an idle tongue.
Go, go, you question with a wicked tongue.
Why, how now, Hamlet?
What's the matter now?
Have you forgot me?
No, by the rood, not so. You are the queen, your husband's brother's wife, and would it were not so, you are my mother.
Nay, then I'll set those to you that can speak.
Come, come and sit you down. You shall not budge. You go not till I set you up a glass where you may see the inmost part of you.
What wilt thou do? Thou wilt not murder me. Help, ho!
Behind the arras.
No, help!
How now? A rat? Dead for a ducat. Dead!
Kills Polonius.
Oh, I am slain.
Oh, me. What hast thou done?
Nay, I know not. Is it the king?
Oh, what a rash and bloody deed is this?
A bloody deed, almost as bad, good mother, as kill a king and marry with his brother.
As kill a king.
Aye, lady, it was my word.
Pulls Polonius' body from behind the arras.
Thou wretched, rash, intruding fool, farewell. I took thee for thy better. Take thy fortune. Thou find'st to be too busy is some danger. Leave the wringing of your hands. Peace. Sit you down, and let me wring your heart, for so I shall, if it be made of penetrable stuff, if damned custom have not so brazed it, so that it be proof and bulwark against sense.
What have I done, that thou darest wag thy tongue in noise so rude against me?
Such an act that blurs the grace and blush of modesty, calls virtue hypocrite, takes off the rose from the forehead, fair forehead of an innocent love and sets a blister there, makes marriage vows as false as dicers' oaths. Oh, such a deed as from the body of contraction plucks the very soul, and sweet religion makes a rhapsody of words. Heaven's face does glow o'er this solidity and compound mass with heated visage as against the doom is thought-sick at the act.
Ay me, what act that roars so loud and thunders in the index?
Look here upon this picture, and on this the counterfeit presentment of two brothers. See what a grace was seated on this brow, Hyperion's curls, the front of Jove himself, an eye like Mars to threaten and command, a station like the herald of Mercury, new lighted on a heaven-kissing hell, a combination and a form indeed where every god did seem to set his seal to give the world assurance of a man. This was your husband. Look you now what follows. Here is your husband, like a mildewed ear blasting his wholesome brother. Have you eyes? Could you not this fair mountain leave to feed and batten on this moor? Ha! Have you eyes? You cannot call it love, for at your age the heyday in the blood is tame. It's humble and waits upon the judgment. And what judgment would step from this to this? Sense, sure you have, else you could not have motion. But sure that sense is apoplexed, for madness would not err, nor sense to ecstasy was ne'er so thralled, but it reserves some quantity of choice to serve in such a difference. What devil was that thus hath cozened you at hoodman blind? Eyes without feeling, feeling without sight, ears without hands, or eyes smelling sans all, or but a sickly part of one true sense could not so mope. Oh, shame! Where is thy blush? Rebellious hell, if thou canst mutine in a matron's bones, to flaming youth let virtue be as whack and melt in her own fire. Proclaim no shame when the compulsive ardor gives the charge, since frost itself as actively doth burn, and reason panders will.
Oh, Hamlet, speak no more. Thou turn'st my eyes into my very soul, and there I see such black and grained spots as will not leave their tinct.
Nay, but to live in the rank sweat of an enseamed bed, stewed in corruption, honeying and making love over the nasty sty.
Oh, speak to me no more. These words like daggers enter in my ears no more. Sweet Hamlet.
A murderer and a villain, a slave that is not 20th part the tithe of your precedent, Lord, a vice of kings, a cut purse of the empire and the rule, that from a shelf the precious diadem stole and put it in his pocket.
No more.
A king of shreds and patches.
Enter the ghost.
Save me and hover o'er me with your wings, you heavenly guards. What would your gracious figure?
Alas, he's mad.
Do you not come your tardy son to chide that lapsed in time and passion lets go by the important acting of your dread command? Oh, say!
Do not forget, this visitation is but to whet thy almost blunted purpose. But look, amazement on thy mother sits. Oh, step between her and her fighting soul. Conceit in weakest body, strongest works. Speak to her, Hamlet.
How is it with you, lady?
Alas, how is it with you, that you do bend your eye on vacancy, and with the incorporeal air do hold discourse? Forth in your eyes your spirits wildly peep, and as the sleeping soldiers in the alarm, your bedded hair, like life and excrement, start up and stand and end. Oh, gentle sun, upon the heat and flame of thy distemper, sprinkle cool patience. Whereon do you look?
On him, on him. Look you how pale he glares. His form and cause conjoined, preaching to stones would make them capable. Do not look upon me, lest with this piteous action you convert my stern effects. Then what I have to do will want true color, tears perchance for blood.
To whom do you speak this?
Do you see nothing there?
Nothing at all, yet all that is I see.
Nor did you nothing hear?
No, nothing but ourselves.
Look, why look you there? Look how it steals away. My father in his habit as he lived. Look where he goes even now out at the portal.
Ghost exits.
This is the very coinage of your brain. This bodiless creation ecstasy is very cunning in.
Ecstasy. My pulse as yours doth temperately keep time and makes as healthful music. It is not madness that I have uttered. Bring me to the test, and I the matter will reword, which madness would gamble from. Mother, for love of grace, lay not that flattering unction to your soul, that not your trespass, but my madness speaks. It will but skin and film the ulcerous place, while ranks corruption, mining all within, infects unseen. Confess yourself to heaven, repent what's past, avoid what is to come, and do not spread the compost on the weeds to make them rancor. Forgive me this virtue, for in the fatness of these pursy times, virtue itself of vice must pardon beg, yea, curb and woo for leave to do him good.
Oh, Hamlet, thou hast cleft my heart in twain.
Oh, throw away the worser part of it and live the purer with the other half. Good night. But go not to my uncle's bed. Assume a virtue if you have it not. That monster custom, who all sense doth eat, of habits devil, is angel yet in this, that to the use of actions fair and good, he likewise gives a frock or livery that aptly is put on. Refrain tonight, and that shall lend a kind of easiness to the next abstinence, the next more easy. For use almost can change the stamp of nature and either rein the devil or throw him out with wondrous potency. Once more, good night, and when you are desirous to be blessed, I'll blessing beg of you. For this same Lord I do repent, but heaven hath pleased it so to punish me with this and this with me, that I must be their scourge and minister. I will bestow him and will answer well the death I gave him. So again, good night. I must be cruel only to be kind. This bad begins and worse remains behind. One more word, good lady.
What shall I do?
Not this, by no means that I bid you do. Let the bloat king tempt you again to bed, pinch wanton on your cheek, call you his mouse, and let him for a pair of reachy kisses or paddling in your neck with his damned fingers make you to ravel all this matter out, that I essentially am not in madness, but mad in craft. 'Twere good you let him know, for who that's but a queen, fair, sober, wise, would from a paddock, from a bat, a gib, such dear concernings hide? Who would do so? No, in despite of sense and secrecy, unpeg the basket on the house's top, let the birds fly, and like the famous ape, to try conclusions in the basket, creep and break your own neck down.
Be thou assured, if words be made of breath and breath of life, I have no life to breathe what thou hast said to me.
I must to England, you know that.
Alack, I had forgot. 'Tis so concluded on.
There's letters sealed, and my two schoolfellows, whom I will trust as I will adders fang, they bear the mandate. They must sweep my way and marshal me to knavery. Let it work, for 'tis the sport to have the engineer hoist with his own batard, and shall go hard, but I will delve 1 yard below their minds and blow them at the moon. Oh, 'tis most sweet when in one line two crafts directly meet. This man shall set me packing. I'll lug his guts into the neighbor room. Mother, good night indeed. This counselor is now most still, most secret, and most grave, who was in life a foolish prating knave. Come, sir, to draw toward an end with you. Good night, mother.
Exit. Act 4, Scene 1. Enter King and Queen with Rosencrantz and Guildenstern.
There's matter in these sighs, these profound heaves you must translate, as fit we understand them. Where's your son?
Bestow this place on us a little while.
Rosencrantz and Guildenstern exit.
Mine own lord, what I have seen tonight.
What, Gertrude? How does Hamlet?
Mad as the sea and wind, when both contend which is the mightier. In his lawless fit behind the arras, hearing something stir, whips out his rapier, cries, a rat, and in this brainish apprehension kills the unseen good old man.
Oh, heavy deed. It had been so with us had we been there. His liberty is full of threats to all, to you yourself, to us, to everyone. Alas, how shall this bloody deed be answered? It will be laid to us, whose providence should have kept short, restrained, and out of haunt this mad young man. But so much was our love, we would not understand what was most fit, but like the owner of a foul disease, to keep it from divulging, let it feed, even on the pith of life. Where's he gone?
To draw apart the body he hath killed, or whom his very madness, like some ore among a mineral of metal's base, shows itself pure. He weeps for what is done.
Oh, Gertrude, come away. The sun no sooner shall the mountains touch, but we will ship him hence, and this vile deed we must with all our majesty and skill both countenance and excuse. Ho, Guildenstern.
Enter Rosencrantz and Guildenstern.
Friends both, go join you with some further aid. Hamlet in madness hath Polonius slain, and from his mother's closet hath dragged him. Go seek him out, speak fair, and bring the body into the chapel. I pray you, hasten this.
Exit.
Come, Gertrude. We'll call up our wisest friends and let them know what we mean to do and what's untimely done. Whose whisper over the world's diameter, as level as the cannon to his blank, transports his poisoned shot, may miss our name and hit the woundless air. Oh, come away. My soul is full of discord and dismay.
Exit. Scene 2. Enter Hamlet.
Safely stowed.
Gentlemen within. Hamlet! Lord Hamlet!
But soft, what noise? Who calls on Hamlet? Oh, here they come.
Enter Rosencrantz and Guildenstern with others.
What have you done, my lord, with the dead body?
Compounded it with dust whereto 'tis kin.
Tell us where 'tis, that we may take it thence and bear it to the chapel.
Do not believe it.
Believe what?
That I can keep your counsel and not mine own. Besides, to be demanded of a sponge, what replication should be made by the son of a king?
Take you me for a sponge, my lord?
Aye, sir, that soaks up the king's countenance, his rewards, his authorities. But such officers do the king best service in the end. He keeps them like an ape, an apple in the corner of his jaw, first mouthed to be last swallowed. When he needs what you have gleaned, it is but squeezing you, and sponge, you shall be dry again.
I understand you not, my lord.
I am glad of it. A knavish speech sleeps in a foolish ear.
My lord, you must tell us where the body is and go with us to the king.
The king is with the body, but the body is with the king, but the king is not with the body. The king is a thing.
A thing, my lord.
Of nothing. Bring me to him. Hide, fox, and all after.
They exit. Scene 3. Enter the king, 2 or 3 gentlemen.
I've sent to seek him and to find the body. How dangerous is it that this man goes loose? We must not. Yet must not we put the strong law on him. He's loved of the distracted multitude who like not in their judgment, but their eyes. And where 'tis so, the offender's scourge is weighed, but never the offense. To bear all smooth and even, this sudden sending him away must seem deliberate pause. Diseases, desperate grown by desperate appliance, are relieved, or not at all.
Enter Rosencrantz.
How now? What hath befallen?
Where the dead body is bestowed, my lord, we cannot get from him.
But where is he?
Without, my lord, guarded, to know your pleasure.
Bring him before us.
Ho, bring in the lord.
They enter with Hamlet.
Now, Hamlet, where's Polonius?
At supper.
At supper where?
Not where he eats, but where he is eaten. A certain convocation of politic worms are e'en at him. Your worm is your only emperor for diet.
End of part 2. Yeah. Good job, guys.
Awesome job, Joe.
Great stuff.
And everyone.
Well, thank you. And please feel free to watch part 1. If you haven't seen part 1, it's on our YouTube channel. And we'll be here same time next week for the conclusion of Hamlet. And thank you, guys. Thank you so much. And a great job, Joe. Well done.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Oh, Joe, really good.
Good job. And have a great night and be safe. And we'll see you next week. Excellent. Thanks, guys. Good night.
Happy 4th, everybody. Be safe.
Happy 4th.
Happy 4th.
Happy 4th.
Good night.
All right, bye.
Good night. Good night, Paul.
Good night, good night.
I'm going to miss you next week.
I'll be in as Dr. Divinity.
Excellent. Excellent.